Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star So let's start. With the completion of the second volume and the successful absorption of 10 Blood River crystals, becoming the legendary Black Warrior, plus the general armor, his earth body may be weaker than the Golden Horned Beast, but he had the strength of an emperor. 2 emperors worth of strength, Luo Feng was definitely confident. It was hard to kill each other in a fight between emperors. Even the Golden Horned Beast with the Shotwu wings had to rely on a high-level emperor self-destruct flame god crystal worth 800 million points to kill his enemy. And it was normally hard to even use the flame god crystal as the explosion would affect its own user. If the Golden Horned Beast didn't have the Shotwu wings and general armor, it would have died too. Hence, when emperors fight, they could at most suppress each other. Death was a rare thing. Using numbers, with 2 emperors joining hands, the enemy couldn't flee. Since the Earth body is ready, it's time to head to Hong Alliance City to check it out. The Earth body took close to 3 months to complete the second volume. As for the beast, it would probably take about 30 years. Luo Feng didn't have the patience to wait that long before heading to the city. Luo Feng pressed the automatic transfer button in his villa of the virtual universe. As a member of the Hong Alliance, he had one more location he could teleport to, Hong Alliance City. He vanished and was transferred to another space. The entire virtual universe's greatest space, where the strongest gathered, it was the Hong Alliance space. A vast space with stars revolving, there lay an ancient majestic city floating. It was Hong Alliance City. As he landed, one of the countless stars about lit up. This is Hong Alliance City? Appearing within a living room no more than 1,000 square meters, he looked about and frowned. This was a small living room. While his height wasn't that tall, there were others that exceeded 10 m etc. This was simply too small. Luo Feng, Luo Feng. Barbata sat on his shoulder and shouted, "I've received mail. This is your living quarters. All the outer city members have the same living space. It has an area of 3,200 square meters. So small." Luo Feng shook his head. The Yuxiong Primal Region Villa is thousands of square meters. This space will be hard to even practice or do anything. Luo Feng, according to the Hong Alliance City management system, Hong Alliance City isn't a place for you to practice, it's a place for the strong warriors to gather. They all have the same body build, a student-level body. I feel it. Luo Feng nodded. Back when Luo Feng had first entered the Black Dragon Mountain Island in the virtual universe, it was the same. All the humans had the exact same body build. This was set to prevent fights. Just looking at their appearances was hard to determine their strengths. Yuxiong Mountain, however, was a gathering spot for geniuses. A place to nurture geniuses, for them to battle and train. Hence everyone had bodies close to their real bodies in reality. If one was a domain lord level 9 in reality, they would be so in the virtual universe. That way, it was suitable for training and battle. The Hong Alliance City, however, reverted back to the original settings. Everyone had the same weak body. Not just the emperors, even the knights have the same bodies here. Barbata said, hence as long as the knights control their pressure, even if a knight stood before you, you wouldn't be able to tell. As everybody has the same build, the only difference is the consciousness, and one can control their pressure, making it impossible to tell. Let's go take a look. Luo Feng walked out. It was a quiet, vast little district. Every living quarters took up 3,200 square meters, all 2 stories high, each with its own style. The outer city is the most crowded and bustling. After all, the inner city is mostly filled with knights and there are only so few of them. At least it's clear, the outer city has over 3 million residents, separated into little districts, each with at most 10,000 residents. Barbata told Luo Feng. Walking within the little district. Luo Feng felt, almost like he was walking in a little district of Earth. However, seeing the different styles of each living quarters, seeing the many different warriors, be it rock life forms etc., only then did he feel he was in Hong Alliance City, a place where the strong gathered. He looked up to the skies. The endless space, stars littered throughout. According to the information I gathered. Luo Feng said softly, every star represents a warrior within the city. I wonder which one is mine. There are a lot of warriors ahead. He glanced forward. In the land ahead there were many chairs and tables. The warriors sat in their groups and drank and chatted. With a glance, there were at least 100 of them, about 5 of them human, while the others all from other races. Huh, a newcomer? I've never seen you. Have you just joined the Hong Alliance? Come, let's drink together. Immediately, many warriors lifted their glasses and waved. Even though they are from different races, everybody is friendly. Luo Feng thought, simultaneously ordering within, Barbata, don't reveal my identity. The title of being the Primal Chaos City leader's disciple was too shocking, and that news definitely has spread throughout the Hong Alliance. Plus, it was rare to see a sector lord in here. He didn't want to become a spectacle. Understood, Barbata said. Luo Feng headed towards the friendly warriors and smiled, after which he grabbed a glass of wine from the bar and headed to the 5 humans. They naturally formed a group around him. If you don't mind, I'll sit here. Luo Feng was wearing black armor, his appearance slightly altered, plus with very few knowing the news of Luo Feng joining the Hong Alliance, other than the 108 knights of the management level and the envoy team, no one else knew. Ha ha, dispense with the ceremonies, come sit. Sit. The other 5 emperors smiled. Luo Feng looked at their star markings on their shoulders, 4 2 stars and 1 3 stars. You just came to Hong Alliance, let me introduce you, I'm Wood Jade Emperor. A long-haired warrior with dark skin said, these 4. Luo Feng chatted happily with the 5 emperors. Occasionally, other race warriors would come say hi. This made Luo Feng get to know many other race warriors. He felt as though the atmosphere was peaceful within the city. One had to know the emperors on Yangji main continent definitely didn't get along well. And it was hard to see so many emperors. How many emperors were there on Yangji main continent? Other than those rushing over by teleportation to kill or escape, it was extravagant to see 2 emperors together otherwise. In Primal Chaos City, however, they were everywhere. Ice Mountain is here. Scum. The other race warriors suddenly got noisy, making Luo Feng get shocked. He gazed over with the other warriors. In the distance, a silhouette in white armor walked. It was a single-eyed warrior with a mask and hundreds of braids. This Ice Mountain warrior walked over to the bar, got his wine and walked to a table to drink alone. Ice Mountain, why are you still here? You think you can just sit here? You sure are shameless. HMPH, if it were outside, I'd long have killed you. The many warriors all mocked. Ice Mountain however continued to drink his wine, after which he stood up, stretched and glanced over, snorting coldly, what a bunch of idiots. After which he walked away into a little district. Watching him leave, Luo Feng asked curiously, what's up with him? Did he enrage everybody? Huh, I wouldn't consider it that. Wood Jade laughed softly. There will naturally be competition where the strong gather. Our little district currently has over 8,000 emperors, all from different races. As time passes, some will stay here for long, groups are naturally formed. The large groups will have over 1,000 while the small will have hundreds. Luo Feng nodded. After being sent to a small district, they would be stuck here. Many had stayed here for trillions of years. Naturally they would get closer to each other and groups were formed naturally. Several deals and other things that happened, that Ice Mountain didn't help out the larger leaders, hence everybody treats him that way. A huge armored man with 2 beast claws said beside, luckily this is the virtual universe, if it was reality, he'd be dead. Wood Jade continued, actually, what he did wouldn't even be considered wrong. Luo Feng was stunned. No wrong, yet he was in this position. He can only blame the fact that he's from a weak race. Wood Jade shook his head. The race powers have a huge influence. That Ice Mountain is from the new Obu Psi race, a weak race. I heard that the entire race only has 1 knight. Within the entire Hong Alliance, they have no influence whatsoever. What do you think? For such a weak clansman from a weak race, it'd be better for him to stay low profile. However, for him to mess things up like that, ha, everybody here are mostly emperors. Even if he was the son of that race's knight, no one would care. However, as I said before, what he did cannot be considered wrong. The fault lies in his identity. Wood Jade smiled, like us humans, even if we did the same thing, who would dare mess with us? Just like when you walked over earlier, didn't you see how passionately everyone greeted you? Because, in Hong Alliance City, humans are the strongest. Wood Jade said softly. Wood Jade Emperor was very good at starting conversations and connecting. When Luo Feng wanted to go walk around Hong Alliance City, Wood Jade said confidently, I'm extremely familiar with everywhere within the city. I'll accompany you and introduce you to a few things. That would be troublesome for you. Luo Feng smiled. No trouble at all. Undyings have limitless life, they can't always be training. And the dangerous battles only occur once in a while. Over the long years, we do have to do some other things, no? To accompany a good friend around Hong Alliance City is a happy thing. Wood Jade smiled, revealing his snow-white teeth. With Wood Jade leading, Luo Feng began to explore the city. Hong Alliance City, the lowest level of strength here was at Emperor level. Countless warriors gathered in such a city, and the city itself was naturally very advanced. Rare scenes that occurred in a typical place was very common here. Large ship deals. Plant life forms, metal life forms being exchanged. Warrior employment. Special item acquirement missions. Huge auctions. Gambling establishment. Gambling? Luo Feng looked at the peculiar-looking 7-story palace. On it were 3 human language words PUYA palace. Warriors all have the characteristics of taking risks, and over eternal life, there aren't that many new things to do. PUYA Palace is a gambling place, a hobby. Come, I'll introduce you. Wood Jade dragged Luo Feng in. The moment they entered, they saw large numbers of warriors about. This huge palace took up several kilometers in space. It was bustling. Open. 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 The many emperors all stared ahead, laughing as they shouted excitedly. Number 1031. A loud voice shouted the numbers. Many of them within immediately cursed. There was one, however, that shouted, 1031 is Nongkang Emperor, he's struck it rich this time. Nongkang, you've won 100 million mixed elements worth of treasure, you'll have to treat me next time. Don't be stingy. Is Nongkang a stingy human? Loud shouts came from all over, after which, a curly long-haired tall man shouted out, go go go. Those with tickets can all head to the 9 fragrant palace hall. Luxurious. Generous indeed. Large cheers could be heard. Luo Feng looked over immediately, asking curiously, Wood Jade, what's going on? This is a 1 out of 10,000 gamble. He laughed. And this lottery system allows the gambling den to earn quite a bit. Luo Feng was shocked. These sort of games are very simple. They produce treasure worth 100 million mixed elements, these aren't some random lousy things. The treasures here are worth at least that much when exchanged or sold outside. Wood Jade explained, 1 treasure from the gambling den is produced and then they will sell 10,000 tickets. Also, every ticket is priced at 10,000 mixed elements. When all 10,000 tickets are sold, they will choose one number out of the lot, the one with that ticket will get the treasure, Wood Jade said. So it's like that. Luo Feng realized. It was interesting. It was akin to 10,000 warriors buying one item together, and one out of all of them would get the item alone. Investing 10,000 to get back 100 million. Of course many of them failed. Since the ticket is only priced at 10,000 mixed elements, occasionally gambling is fun. Wood Jade walked and explained. There were many different types of gambling, and they were quite similar to the gambling of Earth itself, with some unique traits of its own. The smaller ones were worth a few hundred mixed elements, while the higher ones were in the 100 millions. However, the higher ones would have prominent figures occasionally come give it a shot. After all, even Emperor Pinnacles wouldn't dare gamble so high. Walking out of PUYA Palace, Luo Feng was shocked. How much does this place earn? So many warriors coming here to gamble, just earning a little from each of them would be plenty enough. PUYA Palace is the only gambling den in the entire city. Even though it is taxed by the Alliance, its profits are shocking, and it cannot be bought or sold either. Wood Jade exclaimed. There's no way to request to build another gambling den in the city, there's just this one. I've heard that a palace master is the boss of PUYA Palace. I've even heard that it may be several palace masters together owning it. Luo Feng nodded. Not just PUYA Palace. Wood Jade walked in the alley, pointing to the huge shops. All the businesses have number limits. These shops have to have at least a night backing before they can begin. Hence, not everyone can simply have businesses here in the Hong Alliance. Of course there are pros and cons. Other than PUYA Palace and few other unique places, there are many shops that are also unique but limited in numbers. Naturally there will be competition. Ha ha. Even though we emperors are unable to open a shop, we don't need to pay for lodging and so on in here, but only for gambling or buying things. Naturally we will have no expenses if we wished it. However, as long as a shop is open, it requires paying taxes to the Hong Alliance all the time. Wood Jade pointed ahead. Look, that's the best shop with lots of goods, it's named Universe Treasure Hall. I've heard a human palace master opened it. The hall was split into 2 levels, and every level was the same size as PUYA Palace. One had to know that space was limited in the city, and even the emperors lived in tiny spaces. Hence for a ship to be several kilometers in area, how much stuff could fit in there? Hee hee. Luo Feng entered the Universe Treasure Hall. Looking at the countless treasures displayed about, every one of them had a picture that showed footage, picture, and information about the item, including its background, specialty, and price. The treasures on the first floor are priced from 1 million mixed elements to 100 billion, there's everything. Wood Jade pointed out, look at the stairs heading to the second floor. Luo Feng turned to look. Universe Treasure Hall is the best ship. There are countless treasures on the first floor, and the second floor has even more valuable items. Some could be bought with mixed elements. Others were contraband, and one had to exchange for them with other treasures, using a barter system. Wood Jade explained. You should know that several treasures in the universe are extremely rare and unique. To give them an accurate price is very hard, especially unique items, since they may be useless to some, but crucial to others. It's hard to put a price on some items, but exchanging makes it a simpler deal. Luo Feng nodded, walking and looking about. After a while, they reached the stairs. This isn't a place you can go. 9 beautiful other race ladies stood next to the 100 meters wide stairway, and one of them stared coldly at Luo Feng and said. Luo Feng was stunned. The second floor isn't open to just anybody. A piercing voice resounded. A man with purple scales and was dressed in a peculiar gold robe that made him look like a purple jade statue walked over, immediately walking to the stairs and shooting Luo Feng a glance. Young. Wood Jade walked over. Looking at the gold-robed warrior, he said, one has to be a 4-star or above being to go up. Or have over 100 billion mixed elements in your account of the Universe First Bank or Universe Galaxy Bank. Fulfilling any one of these criteria will allow you to go up. And who's that seemingly arrogant fella? Luo Feng laughed. He's called Wu Pin Emperor. Wood Jade said softly. Even though he's from another race, his teacher is a 7-star being, and his teacher spoils him and views him as his own. A disciple of a 7-star? Luo Feng laughed. That Wu Pin Emperor is pretty vicious. Since he's been outspoken and friendly with powerful warriors, he has powerful friends. Young, we are from different circles, we cannot mess with him. Wood Jade said. Different circles have differences, naturally those with a stronger background would all mix together. Luo Feng nodded. There are countless treasures on the first floor. They are in the trillions, and this is enough for you to view for a long time. Wood Jade smiled. I guess so. Luo Feng nodded. He laughed within at that Wu Pin Emperor. Looks like the other races did feel inferior to humans, and against the truly confident humans, they didn't care about the other races. His arrogance was probably a sign of his own feeling of inferiority. The Universe Treasure Hall was indeed the best shop in Hong Alliance City. There were many rare treasures, and some that even the virtual universe treasure trove didn't have. Of course, there were some items in the virtual treasure trove that weren't available here too. However, how could the items in the treasure trove compare to the ones here? Sure makes me want to buy stuff. Hee, the treasures needed for golden horned beast training deities of the world, there are a few here. Luo Feng was happier as he looked around. He didn't intend to buy anything initially. However, after seeing trillions of treasures, he couldn't help but want to buy something. However, the things he was truly interested in were normally worth a few hundreds of millions to billions of mixed elements. Unfortunately, he had no money on him, even though he had several items after killing that Indonesia youth, he didn't exchange them for cash. HM? Luo Feng's gaze suddenly landed on a over 8 m tall peculiar gold armor. Even though this was simulated by the virtual universe, the instant he saw it, he immediately thought of the soldier and general armor. This is... Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Luo Feng carefully examined the gold armor before him, especially the energy that was simulated from it. It was similar to the soldier and general armor. But the only thing was, this armor was something scanned and simulated in the virtual universe. Hence, Luo Feng couldn't feel the calling here. If it were in reality, he would easily feel it. That was impossible in the virtual universe. The feeling it gives me is similar to the 2 armors I possess. Luo Feng looked at the picture. On it was detailed information about it along with a price. Luo Feng couldn't help but reveal happiness, Mother Flame race. The detailed information of the picture. This armor was acquired from an ancient battle in the race wars. Its original owner was an emperor of the Mother Flame race, who was incredibly powerful. 10 emperors died from his hands, and later on, he was killed by a knight. The warrior was instantly reduced to nothing from the attack. The gold armor on him, however, was undamaged. It was a shocking and a mysterious treasure. This armor was kept as a memento of the battle after careful examination. It couldn't change its size, unable to be absorbed into any body. However, its material is sturdy enough so that even a knight would take quite some effort to break through it. Because of the tests, there are 3 very tiny tears in it. Even though it cannot change its size, an undying can become undying energy and enter it. The undying can then form his body accordingly. According to the tests, even if one cannot fuse with it, as long as one wears it, soul attacks would be diminished by over 90% by it. Even other attacks would have the same effect. Just with the soul and physical attack diminishing properties, this golden armor is a true treasure. It is priceless. However, its weakness is, its form is fixed and cannot change, making it slightly troublesome. 1. A fixed golden armor is rigid at the joints. If one is a fighter, he will find it hard to wave his blades. 2. A 2-meter-tall god having to form an over 8 m tall body affects his strength greatly. A human undying with a height of 2 m would definitely never purposely make himself 10 m, 1,000 m or even 10,000 m tall. Even though it was possible, it would have great effect on his strength. Hence the original form was the optimum. 3. Even though this gold armor had a helmet, its face area was revealed. As long as a soul attack goes through that area, it wouldn't be blocked by the armor. Its power wouldn't be diminished. 3. Great weakness. Combined with its incredibly high price, 5 billion mixed elements, it made it so that no one would even bother asking about the armor. 5 billion mixed elements. Luo Feng nodded. Not bad, it isn't too absurd. Young. Wood Jade walked over and saw Luo Feng engrossed in the description of the golden armor. He couldn't help but laugh. This armor is very mysterious. It can block both physical and soul attacks. However, its weakness is obvious, especially the revealed face portion. It makes its strength useless. Especially with its 5 billion mixed elements price. Haha, this armor is useful even for emperors, but who would be willing to pay 5 billion for an armor they have to change their undying body to fit with so many flaws? Luo Feng looked at him. No one has bought it before? Even with so many weaknesses. Its strengths were shocking. There should be some who would buy it. Of course it's been bought before. Wood Jade laughed. Back then the Black Phoenix bought one. To fit into it, she changed her body just and even specially making an alloy armor to help it. What happened? She met another race warrior in a secret region, and because she changed the size of her body, her strength got lowered. And the other race warrior was much stronger, discovering her mask's weakness after a while. As her special alloy mask isn't as good as the gold armor, it only decreased half of the soul attacks. The enemy's soul attack went through her face. She fell in the wall. Ah, what a pity. Wood Jade shook his head. One has to know that the most terrifying emperors are those proficient in soul attacks. They pass through space itself and are incredibly fast, able to go in through anywhere. As long as there's a weak spot anywhere, the defenses of the other parts are useless. The gold armor is useless against it. Even making an undying change her form just to fit it, it's simply a waste and useless. If it were cheaper, like about 500 to 600 million, people will buy it more. But 5 billion? It's enough to make an emperor feel the pinch and not buy something like that. Wood Jade said, over countless years, there have been several unlucky warriors that have fallen. Hence no one buys it stupidly anymore. However, it is strange, this armor has been transferred about several times, even taken by the enemy but returning after a few battles. However, the price has always been fixed. Theoretically, the price should drop after so long, however it's always remained at 5 billion. When it first appeared its price was 50 billion, and after the first user fell, it dropped to 5 billion. Over countless years, it stayed the same. Transferred a few times? Luo Feng was curious. The Universe Treasure Hall only has this one? They have a total of 3. Wood Jade said, however, this one with the 3 tiers was the one sold to Black Phoenix. I knew her. Luo Feng nodded and eyed the armor. Simultaneously decreasing physical and soul attacks. Unable to change in size? Unable to fuse with the body? Mother Flame race? This is it. Luo Feng was very sure from the 4 points. This is the higher level armor from the soldier and general armor. Mother Flame race? The soldier and general logo are the same. Unable to fuse with the body? HMPH, the Mosha body untrained in the nameless manual cannot fuse with the armors too. Unable to change in size? It can only do so after the fusion. Weaken physical and soul attacks. This confirms it. This is similar to the soldier and general armor. Luo Feng was very excited within. The Hong Alliance was indeed a place where the strong and countless treasure gathered. He randomly stumbled upon a mysterious gold armor, and even though all its treasures were priced accurately, it was lucky that no warrior in the Alliance had a way to use this armor properly. Hence it wasn't too expensive. I definitely have to buy it, Luo Feng thought. Luo Feng was very clear about his own trump cards. Even though the Shou wings were very strong, the more important thing to him was the nameless manual and the general armor. Because these two could raise his strength. The general armor allowed him to have an extra 10,000 Sector Lord strength, making up for the difference between him and the Undyings. It not only increased his defense and offense, it increased his chances of survival. General armor. The Golden Horned Beast and Earth Body both had Emperor-level strength mainly because of it. In terms of lore comprehension, Luo Feng relying on the Beast God presence was only at level 18. This is far from Kudi's level 20 from back then. However, with the mysterious general armor, he had intrepid strength. Along with the Shou wings and his own pinnacle technique, he could easily kill a pinnacle official. Even relying on the Flame God crystal to kill a low emperor. If I didn't have the nameless manual and the general armor, I'd only have official level strength. I have to thank the creator of the nameless manual. Luo Feng guessed that since Earth humans were nurtured by that great creator, the Mother Flame race was probably nurtured from the same creator. The nameless manual should therefore be from the same great creator. I have never met him, but he's given me so much, Luo Feng thought. Would Jade Emperor? Luo Feng said. Young? Would Jade looked curiously at him. I need your help in something. Luo Feng smiled and walked out of the shop with him. To buy the gold armor, he needed 5 billion mixed elements. Luckily it was only 5 billion, and it was not enough to force him to sell the inheritance crystal. But the goods left behind by the Nasia youth, Luo Feng had to sell them all. As for those goods, with his discounted price, Luo Feng would still have to spend at least 8 billion points. Naturally, the other emperors couldn't get it at such low prices. Luo Feng was the disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader, only because of that was he so privileged. The Virtual Universe Company earned very little from him. After a day and a half, Luo Feng finally sold everything. He first got an estimate from the Virtual Universe Company. They agreed to use 7 billion to buy everything. After which, he asked around the shops in Hong Alliance City, and they agreed to buy some, the highest giving him 7.8 billion. It was crucial to get a good price. Wood Jade passionately brought Luo Feng around, first to the district where he stayed, then to friends, asking for prices. Finally he sold everything at 8.6 billion. If I exchanged for treasure within the Virtual Universe Company and then sold it here, wouldn't I make it rich? It's a pity that the Virtual Universe Company is very strict to all Primal Region members, banning any sales of items. Luo Feng sighed. The company nurtured him well and didn't earn much from him. Hence the prices were so low. A day and a half later, Luo Feng came alone to the Universe Treasure Hall, making sure there was no one else around. The treasures were extremely expensive, and it took an emperor countless years to buy one. With only more than 3 million emperors in Hong Alliance City, only a few would come in and browse. It was mostly empty. Come here. Luo Feng called the employee. Valued customer, what do you want to buy? He walked over. This gold armor is special, I'll buy it. Luo Feng said. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.